Hey, what's going on, weavers? Tim here again, and in this episode we're making a cobra snake keychain. It's made using a combination of snake knots and cobra knots, hence the name. And I specifically wanted to make a smaller size keychain so that it can fit into your pocket and it's not too long or bulky.
That's what she said!
While still functional, as it has this loop that you can easily grab. So let's get right into it. In terms of materials, I've got my 2 lengths of paracord and a keyring. That's all you're going to need. To start off, I'm going to work from the midpoint of both cords. I'm going to start by tying a single snake knot. Holding the cords in between my left and index thumb, I'm going to grab the green cord from underneath the orange and make an overhand loop around the orange strand. The orange strand then wraps up and around the green strand and through the first green loop we made. Pull that first knot shut and try your best to keep it at the midpoint of the strands. I'm going to continue by repeating this process and tying more snake knots. Do the same by grabbing the cord that's on top, make an overhand loop around the bottom cord, then take the bottom cord around the top one and through the first loop. Pull shut and cinch the knot up next to the first one. So I've tied a few snake knots on this first side, and I'm going to flip the entire piece around and tie some snake knots on the other side. It's the exact same method, but the colors are now flipped. This time I'm grabbing the orange from behind the green to make the first loop. Then the green strand is going around the orange and through the first orange loop. I'm just going to repeat this process a few more times as well for the same number of knots. And the reason I'm working from the center is just to make it easier to keep the snake knots centered in the middle of the strands. I tied a total of 14 snake knots on each side. But if you want a longer keychain, you can increase the amount of cord and make it longer. So make sure you tie an equal amount of snake knots on both sides of the midpoint to form your piece. With the snake knot portion done, I'm going to fold the entire piece in half and bring in my keyring and slip it over the 2 orange strands as they seem to be more in the middle. I'm then going to fold the orange strands upwards, forming 2 bites pointing downwards. And this is where my keyring will sit. I'm going to clip these strands together with some hemostats just so you can see a bit more clearly without my fingers in the way, but you don't need to actually do this. These 2 bites form a section that's about 1.5 inches or 4 centimeters. Now I'm going to start tying cobra knots over all 4 strands. I'm going to pass the right green strand over the 4 core strands. Then the left strand goes over the right strand, behind the 4 core strands, and then out the crook on the right. Pull tight to secure that first knot. Then repeat, the lead strand is now on the left, pass that over the front, the right strand goes over the left, then behind the core and out the crook on the left. So remember to always keep the lead strand on the front of the piece. You can adjust and even up the loops after this second knot. I'm going to tie 6 more cobra knots until I reach the keyring, and make sure to pull nice and tight for each knot as it's over 4 strands. And I'm going to stop once I reach the keyring. So from here, all that's left to do is to snip off the excess cords, melt with the lighter, and press down on the melted ends to lock them in place. Do this for the cobra knot strands and the 2 core strands up the middle at the bottom of the keychain loop. And with all that done, we now have our cobra snake keychain. I like how this one turned out, quite simple and minimal in design, and I'm sure it can get the job done and add some style to your keys. I feel like this little loop here makes it easy to grab it out of your pocket. So that's all I have for you today, and I hope you all enjoyed and found this video useful. I want to thank you all for watching, and a huge thank you to all my current Patreon supporters for making videos like this possible. If you want access to exclusive content and the Weavers of Eternity Discord, want to support the channel directly, please feel free to check out my Patreon page. You can join for as little as $3 a month. You can also support the channel by liking the video, commenting, and subscribing. If you enjoyed the content here, please feel free to check out what I have to offer on the rest of my channel.